Hello, dear friends. This is Jeannie from Dollhouse Rescue. Welcome back to my workshop and my channel. I have got a bee in my bonnet about working on some dollhouse furniture and repairing it. And this is the piece we're going to work on today. I have two of these, and they're very similar, and they have the same issue. This is a Plasco television, and it's supposed to have a cardboard dial in there that turns around and has pictures on it to make it look sort of like a TV. Since that dial is cardboard, and I suppose kids poke their finger in there, that has gotten poked too far back, and it's supposed to have a little part that sticks out here so that you can turn it and change the picture. Well, that doesn't poke out, and you can also not see the picture. So I wanted to try to fix it. My idea was to poke a knife in there and try to bring that forward, pry it forward, and get it in the right position. I tried that quite a while. It was not successful. But as I was doing that, I was able to carefully turn my knife and split that at the seam. And I worked my knife all the way around and was able to get that front part pried off. So that's where I am today. I've got that front part tied off, and you can see there's that cardboard dial. You can also see it's been played with a lot in the past. It's really frayed around the edge. We're going to see if we can make that fray part be a lot flatter. We're going to mount it on something a little sturdier. We're going to put it back together and glue it together and see how it goes. I have a piece of clear plastic here. It's just got a little bit of stiffness to it. It's not very thick. Now, this is actually I got it to do for crafts. So it came in a packet of like 20 or 30 sheets. But if you don't have that, you could use like the cover of like a clamshell packaging like you get at the grocery store. Maybe has rolls or cookies in it, or sometimes toys that will have a sheet of plastic on the outside, like that clear window. You can look in and see the toy. So you might keep some of those handy. I usually have some of those on hand too, but today I'm using this. I also had thought about using like the lid of like a yogurt cup or something. That'd be a little heavier plastic, a little round lid. I didn't have any of those handy today, and I think this is going to work better because it's a little thinner. I took my cardboard disc and I put it underneath the plastic, and I took a Sharpie marker, a fine point one, and I copied that circle on there. You can see I've got that circle drawn on there, and I also put a dot there in the middle where the hole's going to go. You can see that dot. So let me take my scissors and cut this out and see how close that is to the right side. I've put that plastic circle up there and trimmed it just a little bit tighter to make it exactly the right size. Now my first thought was to put this on the back of that cardboard just to give it durability and strength. But I don't know why I shouldn't just put it on the front and kind of protect that cardboard. That will give it a little shine when you look in there, and if anybody puts their finger in there, they won't mar those little pictures. Look at how cute those little pictures are going to be. There's like a lion and a trapeze artist maybe, and an elephant, and Circus Parade is the name of the theme. So I think what I'm going to do, this cardboard, I'm glad to see it was like played with a lot in the past, and those edges are frayed. So I'm going to put some of my 3-in-1 glue along there and kind of heal that where those are frayed like that, where the cardboard's starting to split, to make that durable and nice and flat again. There's another spot where that cardboard's been kind of worn out. So I'm going to put a little glue on there and then press my fingers on there and press that down flat. Then I'll put just a teeny bit of glue here on this and glue it on there, and then we'll see if it'll fit together. The other thing I need to do is poke a hole right there in the middle, and I could maybe use my trusty steak knife for that. Scissors I think are too blunt, and I've also got a little tiny X-Acto knife that I might use, as long as I be careful and don't hurt my fingers. Maybe even a pin or a nail would be good, but we'll get that hole back in there too. Here's my favorite glue I like to use for dollhousing. There's other kinds of glue that work well. I like this 3-in-1 craft glue. It really sets up nicely. It's a little bit tacky, so it doesn't run all over like a super glue would, but it holds nicely, and I like that you can put it on and it doesn't dry right away, so you can adjust stuff, but it dries fairly quickly, so you don't have to wait a long time for it to dry. I'll put a link to this glue in the comments just to make it convenient for you. Okay, I ran actually a little bead of glue all the way around there to help to keep that from fraying in the future. And also I checked my glue out. This is acid free and it's waterproof, so it should not damage anything that you use it on. Now that I've got that done, I had an idea. This had a bend in it right there. And in order to give it a little more stability, I thought, well, maybe I could use 2 of these circles. So I cut out another circle so I can put one on the back and one on the front. Now the one on the back, I can probably, glue freely and solidly because I won't hurt the graphics. Then the one on the front, I'll just put a little glue around the edge. Here's my 2 discs. I'm going to put the hole in them. I have found a pin. I keep an assortment of things up here in my workshop, so I don't have to always run around downstairs and find a pin or a toothpick. So I had these in a little box up here of tools waiting to be used. I'm going to poke a hole in there, and then I've got a nail. Again, same thing. I had it in my little supply thing, a small nail. I'm going to poke it in there and make that hole a little bigger. I don't want the hole overly big because I don't want it to slop around in there. I didn't show you yet, but what this does is it sets on this little peg here. I'll see if I can get that so you can see that little peg. There's a little peg right there that wants to mount on. And so I don't want that so big that it will slop around. There, I think you can see that little plastic peg right there. So it shouldn't be any bigger around than that because I don't want that to slop around on there. So let's give it a try. That feels perfect. Now I'm going to put the plastic on the front first with just a few dabs of glue around the edge. And then I'm going to try the fit. The only problem I could have is if those 2 layers of plastic make it too thick to go through that little slot on the side. I don't think it will, but I'm going to test it before I glue that back on just to make sure. All right, put a few dots of glue, put that plastic on the front. While that glue's still damp, I'm going to lay it down face down on this paper towel and press down tight. Press that all over so I make sure that glue is sealed nicely around the edge, as good as I can make it without making it look funny. The other thing I did while I had this apart before I put the plastic on is I took a picture of that cardboard, and I will have that available for my dollhouse friends in case anybody else wants to do this repair on this type of dollhouse, or maybe somehow build one out of construction paper themselves. They could have that little wheel, a copy of that original cardboard wheel, because theirs might be missing, or maybe they're making one from scratch. So that bottom piece of plastic, I cut it just a little smaller to avoid it from binding. And the other thing I did when the top layer of plastic was binding, I did a little sanding on the edges of that plastic. So now look, it should just turn smoothly. It's kind of a tight fit, which is good. I don't want it to rattle out of there. But if you use your thumb and your finger, you can rotate that screen around in there, just like it's supposed to. It's as good as new, maybe a little better. That's it for this fix. Now, if you have any questions about this, let me know. I've got another one just like this that needs fixed. When I find it, I'll get out and do the very same thing to it. Or if you want a copy of that little cardboard in there, let me know. Just put it in the comments, and I'll be glad to share that with you. Please remember, as always, you have a friend here in Iowa and a lot of friends in our Facebook group, so I hope you'll join us. And please subscribe to my channel. It means so much to me. I appreciate it. Thank you.